Hello and welcome to Gaia's Library. I'm your podcast host, Francesca Catlow, and today we are speaking with debut novelist Sophie Hamilton about her book, More Than Nothing. Let's jump straight in. Hi, Sophie. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, nice to see you.
So, what I want to start with is something really, really important, and it is the F word.
Ah,
And of course, by F word, I mean forearms.
oh, okay, right. I thought we were going somewhere else with that, obviously, but
Well, we
yes.
might. So tell me, is the forearms a personal obsession or
You
just in
know,
the book?
you know what? It's become a thing now. I don't know how it became so much of a thing. Obviously, my fault. I mean, forearms.
Yeah,
I,
to be
I
fair.
just they just do it for me. I guess I'm a forearm kind of gal. There's all sorts of different attributes to focus on, but I don't know that it's the slow roll of the shirt sleeves, isn't it?
Oh,
And the
yes.
and the muscly forearms, a capable guy with muscly forearms, slow shirt sleeve roll. I'm there for it.
Yeah,
What
I
can I
totally get
say?
that. Yeah, that's fair enough. To be fair, I think everyone who's read the book has been like, yeah, this is nice. We like this.
Well, I think an author online, a friend, said that she now, if she sees my social media posts, she thinks of me as the forearm queen. And I was like, do you know what? I'll take that. That's okay.
Yeah, I think that that would get you a lot of extra readers if that just became a thing, like a tagline next to your name.
Sophie Hamilton, forearm queen.
We would be like, we need to read those books. I love it.
My
On,
work is done.
yeah, tick. With the other F word, so I will
Yeah.
actually go there. You told me, I hope you don't mind me saying this, that you had a bit of a competition going with the use of the actual F word in the book. And I just wanted to have you like express like what that meant to you, why it was important, why it was a thing.
I don't know why it's a thing. It wasn't a conscious competition. It was a couple of writing friends and I. We got to the end of all writing first drafts or edited drafts, and we just said. I think it was at a point when we were saying, "Oh my goodness, how many times do I use the word, such and such?" And it was all the adverbs that you're supposed to rule out, lots of body parts, lots of eye rolling and shoulder shrugging and whatever, and we were just laughing over it. And then obviously it went further. We were like, okay, who in their manuscript has used the F word the most? And I won hands down. I was proud. um I just think I don't have a problem with it myself. I don't know if other people do when they're reading. um I think if it's authentic, speaks of the character and the situation. I think it just gives a little bit of very real emphasis. I'm truly okay with the F word. So yeah, I did have a Christmas card from my uncle who is 80, who had read the book, major cringe. And he did write a little note and say that he was disappointed at the abundance of F word usage and petting, which is not a word I've heard since God knows when. But other than that, well done. So that was mortifying.
I love that.
Big,
I'm
you
sorry.
know,
I love it. I just love
yes,
that so much.
slapped
It's
hand there, but
adorable.
it did make me giggle because, to be
Mm.
honest, he's not really my target audience. So
No.
well done, Uncle Jeff, for reading. Thank you very much. Yeah, next book coming soon.
I love that so much.
It's the way I write is, and I hope it was fitting in the circumstances. So
It was. And speaking of like the circumstances, that leads me to the setting. So obviously you chose to set the book in America. So our readers were interested in like, was it difficult to set a book, as a UK author, was it difficult to set a book in the US? And like, have you been to the location or thereabouts? Just like, what was it for you? Like, why did you set it there? And how did you go about research for the location?
it happened by accident, to be honest. I didn't mean to do it. I had the idea a long, long time, and I tried in my head to set it to relocate it, to set it in an English cafe, English village, English town, whatever. It just didn't work. None of it worked. And I thought, well, how hard can this be? Um, I'll set it, I'll just imagine, that's what we do, isn't it? We write, we imagine. I'm guessing not all thriller writers are psychopathic murderers. So, they put themselves into this character. I can do that too. So, and then I thought, second book, I'll just go back to what I know. I'll go back to the UK and it'll be fine. Didn't realize couldn't do that. I took it as a bit of a challenge, to be honest, because we researched so much stuff in general.
Mm.
It just became, I was really keen not to make a fool of myself. I really didn't want people in America to read it and just laugh at it and say, this is awful. This has been done badly. So it became a real challenge to make it as authentic as I possibly could. It's easy to swap out the English for American words, the pavement, sidewalk, and all that sort of thing. But it's the flavor of what does it smell like? What does it sound like? What are people saying? The phrases, the different phrases, and that's where it got hard because some phrases are English and we don't realize they are.
Yeah.
You just don't realize that someone in America would say something different. And that was the biggest challenge. So I utilized a lot of American friends, forever voice noting them and messaging them, say, if women have bangs instead of a fringe, what does a guy have if he has a fringe? Do you call those bangs? Because that
Yeah.
sounds wrong, and things like that. And then just sort of, like, I don't know, we say counting your chickens. What do you say instead of counting your chickens? Like all these weird and wonderful phrases that you don't realize are a thing. And then after I'd written the book, I said to my husband, when I knew that it got picked up by an agent and it was going to be published, I said to my husband, I kind of think we need to go now. We need to go to where I've based the series, which is rural Michigan. And we did a road trip. We've now done two. And we went out there and we had things we wanted to see and places we wanted to stay. It's a beautiful, beautiful state. But most of all, I wanted to do that sitting in a diner and listening
Yeah.
and looking at what's on the menu. I came away, I stole menu cards from everywhere when we went, because if I mention them ordering something, I want to know that you could actually order that.
I thought it came across really, really well from my perspective. And, it didn't, I wasn't pulled out of the fiction thinking, oh, that doesn't work, which is what you.
I love hearing that. That's good. I know it's not faultless. I'm aware that there must be things that have slipped through. I apologize in advance to anyone who's picked any of those up. But I did my absolute best. I'm not I don't live in the US, so there are going to be slip ups, but I had a great time, and I think I'm learning all the time what the pitfalls are to avoid.
Yeah, but I think that's just, life, isn't it? You just learn as you go, and it's a good book,
Absolutely.
and that's really what matters. And that brings me to Eleni. Rhymes with Melanie. Eleni.
Elenie,
Eleni.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So, right, my emphasis is slightly different because I'm going like how I've heard it in Greece more. So it still rhymes with Melanie, but it's
Yeah, we
slightly
had
different how
that.
you say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had that conversation, didn't we? It's slightly
Yeah.
different.
It is slightly different. You say it again for me how you say it in your head.
Elenie rhymes with
Eleni.
Melanie and felony.
Eleni. Felony. Eleni. Okay. I'll probably keep accidentally saying slightly wrong, but I mean, I always say names wrong in books or I make people's names up. Like I am quite
It
bad.
matters. It doesn't matter. I mean, as long as I don't hear it, in which case, it sounds wrong to me. But if
Yes.
you're reading it, you can call them what you like.
That's what I am a bit of a nightmare. I think other authors would like hate to be in my head while reading their books because I'm a nightmare. But let's go to her as a character. Like everyone just all the readers loved her. Like the word authentic was thrown about and how she just comes across as a very real, very rounded character. Like you genuinely feel for her. My heart was right there, just like, you're just like, please something good happen to this poor girl. Like she just has been dealt the worst possible hand. And what people really want to know, is she like based on personal experience? Is she based on someone you know? Because she just feels like a very real person. So everyone really wants to know like how you came up with her.
It's funny, isn't it? It's no, she's not based on a real person. She's just herself. I don't think any of us find it possible to write characters that don't have parts of ourselves thrown in. So there's little bits. I her she's obviously a book lover. I'm a book lover. Her interest in random facts is all me. I love a random fact. If I could insult more people in foreign languages, I would. Um, I just things that are just obscure and fun interest me, and I think she's someone who, with the lack of friends that she's got, that has become even more important to her. So her knowledge, her little interior world is everything. And I love when I'm reading a romance, when I'm reading a book, I want that. Oh, I never know how to explain it, but you know that pang that you get in your chest or your stomach where you feel for somebody so
Oh yeah.
much when you're reading it, and it makes you feel just a little bit
Yeah.
just it makes you hurt for them. And I
Mm,
just wanted her to be in that position first where she's resilient, she's resigned, she's doing the best she can with the situation she's in, but it's painful for her. And then you know, it set her up for just that one person to come along who says, okay, well, I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at you as a person. I'm not looking at the surroundings and the facts and you know, I'm not making judgments. I'm going to look at you and see what I think and the difference it makes to her. The fact that, you know, then she can be more herself. She can come out of that sort of self-imposed exile that she's been in. So I think I love her. She's a quiet character, but she's super strong,
yeah.
and she's just taken so much rubbish in her life that has got her to that point. So I guess that's a bit of a summary. She's not someone, she's just herself, but with elements of all sorts of other things thrown in.
Yeah, I mean that inner confidence, and you can see it building throughout. Like, even with her, like, going up and helping the other police officer when he's injured. You know,
Yeah,
it's not a big spoiler. I'm not like ruining it for anyone who hasn't read it yet or hasn't got to that point yet. But like, there's like that inner thought of like, do I go up? You know, like she doesn't want to get in trouble. She doesn't want to
well,
like
that's a really
step foot
interesting
wrong.
that's an interesting bit, that bit, because I didn't really realize how significant it was. Because I was talking to one of the development editors about the book, and saying, you know, oh, it, you know, just took Roman to, you know, believe in her for her to start, you know, building her confidence. And she said, you're wrong. It was the turning point was the accident, the gunshot with Dougie, when she, you know,
Yeah,
she helped him and she moved on from that, and everything changed. She made some friends from that. You know, her life began to open up from that point. And honestly, it surprised me.
really,
and
it's such an important scene. Like, I found it really compelling, and I feel like she'd got this little confidence from Roman. Like, it was like a baby step towards, like, he's listening to her. He's not just obviously judging her. Like, so he wants to hear her voice. So then when it comes to that, she has the confidence not to just turn around and walk away and go like, I can't get involved. They'll think I did something. Or she has that like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do this. And I felt like, yeah, she did get the friends and everything else from that, but it was sort of because of Roman, like giving her that little tiny seed of
I
confidence to
think
do that.
it was that was a really important thing that I was really conscious of. Well, maybe unconscious of if I didn't notice I was doing it. But I never wanted Roman to save Elenie. It was really important that that wasn't the case. He's there and he was supportive and he offered her a lot, but he didn't save Elenie. Elenie saved herself.
Yeah.
And I think as women in society, you know, discovering how strong we all are. I mean, it's the fact that we have to discover it is ridiculous because we all know how strong we are, and that needs to come across in books. You know, that's changed a lot more recently, where you know the the journey of the female is not dependent upon the on the male character. So yes, that was super important.
Yeah, I'm really into writing like reverse Cinderella at the moment. Like I can't help it. All of my male characters, I'm like, I really like they're the broken ones. And I'm like,
I love
my
that.
female characters are kind of broken too, but I always feel like they either save each other, and which I do think there is a big chunk of that in yours actually. They do save each other. He's also got a lot going on in his head. I think his location and her really starts sorting him out. He starts like letting go of stuff. But I do like a reverse Cinderella where like you've got a broken male character and the woman kind of not like swoops
Yeah.
in too, nothing too cheesy, but yeah, it's nice when people save each other and help each other and grow together.
I think that's,
Um,
yeah, because we don't want an I can fix him situation, but we want a fact
no,
that, stronger together.
yes,
That's the
that's
nice
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. I mean, like with characters, so other questions that we have is like, do you spend a lot of time getting to know them beforehand? Do you like make copious notes of who they are, what they would do, all this, that, and the other? Or is it like more organic? As you're writing, you're sort of like building this picture. So you've got like a core and then you grow from it. So how do you go about that with your characters?
So I'm a terrible, terrible planner. I would love to be better at it, but I'm just not. If I plan, I bore myself if I plan because then it becomes really static and generic, and I'm ticking boxes and I'm thinking of my arcs, and it takes the spontaneity and the life out of it.
Mm,
Um, so I don't know if it's normal or a bit weird. I think other people must do it, but sometimes. So the beginning of a book, when you're just getting to know the characters yourself, is quite hard because you don't know who they are, you don't know what they would say or do in certain circumstances. So sometimes when I'm starting out towards the beginning, I will jump ahead in the book and write a scene from later on. Often it might even be a romantic scene, a bedroom scene, whatever, but it's something where they've already got their connection. They are developed characters. And if I write it from that part of the story, I feel like I discover them quicker and I can go backwards again to the beginning and deconstruct it a bit.
I like
So,
that.
no, I don't plan. I have my rough ideas of who they are, who they're going to be, what their rough character is, um, and those layers, those sort of onion layers, have to develop as time goes by as I'm writing.
I like it. I do think sometimes when things are a bit more organic, it feels more natural. I think some people are just so good at plotting they can make that work.
Fair
I'm
play to them.
Yeah, I mean totally. I'm not a massive plotter. I'm better at some plotting than I used to be because I didn't used to plot anything at all. I'd have a few basic ideas and a few things. I do sometimes have to scene jump the way you described, but not quite like that. It's more if I'm struggling. So if I start and I'm like, I
Yeah,
know it's going here, but I like can't think of the bridge. Sometimes I'll write this thing and then the bridge becomes so obvious to me. So I do
yeah,
think it's a
it's
good
helpful.
way. Definitely. Going back to names, I should have linked this in, but with, now let me say it right, Elenie. There you go. Did I do it?
Rhymes with Melanie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like literally in my head trying to say like, okay, my pronunciation's just the Greek. Well, I think it's more the Greek way, unless I'm just, I don't know. When I'm in Greece, I always get told I'm saying things wrong, so I'm probably saying it wrong for everyone. Um, okay, so one reader hadn't heard of this name before at all, and they just wondered like the significance of that name and other names, and like obviously like her mum's called Athena, isn't she? Yes. Yeah.
yes.
And she obviously changed her name to that, which again is Greek. So I didn't know if there was like some connections there or like, because to me in my head, I'm like, oh, are they Greek? Like literally is what I was there thinking. And I just wondered like what the
No,
reader wondered. And I also wondered the similar thing. So
there's no Greek connection at all. And I sadly, I don't really know the answer to this because mostly the names just come to me. They just fit who I have thought of. I have no idea where the name Elenie comes from because I've never heard it before either.
okay.
And it was just her name. I really honestly can't say any more than that. It just happened. And Athena was more, I was trying to think of something that so her mother, has got these great delusions of the life she wanted to live, the party girl she wanted to be, awful, awful woman. And I thought, what would be a funny comparison? Somebody who, has been given a standard name. She was called Vivian when she was
Oh yeah, that's it.
born, and she wanted to, reinvent herself into this sort of, ethereal party girl. And I just thought Athena fitted that quite well because she, that was the name she gave herself.
Yeah.
And I think names are super important. And one of the, in a way, more interestingly, Roman's name was a struggle because he wasn't, I'll let you into a secret, he wasn't Roman. He was, I wrote it over a couple of years, and he was called Lucian.
Oh really?
And that was just how it was. I'd seen a television program years and years ago with a cool main character called he was called Lucian, and I thought, oh, if I write a book, that'll be my main character. And then I think I'd finished it. I'd got the agent. We were at editing stage, and Lucy Score, bless her, bought out her Knock 'em Out series with things we never got over. And
Okay.
one of her, she had 3 books in the series, and the third book featured a guy called Lucian. And it would have been okay. I could have got away with that because you can't avoid all the names from other people. But Lucy Score at the time was my closest comparison. She was literally the comp that I was going to publishers and saying, in the style of Lucy
Mm.
Score. And I thought, we can't do it. It's just so close.
Yeah.
And I was gutted. I could see it happening. I knew I was just waiting for my agent to have the conversation with me. We're going to have to change his name. And I went through denial and regret and fury and all sorts. And then in the end, I just thought, well, I'll have to find something I like as much. So that was the weird sort of development of Roman. Again, don't really know where Roman came from. I think I just went through lists of sort of Spanish origin names, and now I can't imagine him being called anything else.
Yeah, it just suits him. Like, I'm like, no, he's Roman, like 100%. So it is interesting how sometimes I have that with characters. Sometimes I'm like, this name maybe it isn't working for some reason, or yeah, and I'll just suddenly like finish a manuscript. You're like, I'm just going to change this character's whole entire name throughout and hope I haven't missed
I
any.
think the funny thing that I've discovered over time is that readers, like as a writer, your characters, you don't get confused between them. You're just like, it's obvious.
Yeah,
As a reader, readers get confused very quickly if you have
I
characters in the
do.
same book that begin with the same initial.
Mm,
So if you change, I try very hard to make sure in each book I don't use that same initial for more than one character. So you change one name. So
mhm.
when Lucian became Roman, originally his best friend was called Reese. So we had Roman and Reese. So then Reese had to become Milo. You end up in some kind of mad domino effect of having to change this shower of names. So that can be tricky too.
Yes, names are always tricky. Well, let's move on to criminal activities now. Is my
Yeah,
next thing that I've got
yeah.
written down. So, the readers wanted to know about your research and inspiration for criminal activity within your book. So, yeah, how did you go about that? I hope you weren't going around committing crimes to find out what would happen next.
I tried to avoid that. I thought the becoming going into the drug dealing world was, I got too many calls on my time as it is. I can't be doing with that. So yeah, my Google search history is a danger to me, to be honest. I'm just waiting for the police to follow that up, but I figure they're working through all the other authors first, so I'm safe for a while. So it was just a lot of research, like everything else. And I think the hardest thing, in a way, was finding enough things for Elenie's stepdad to do without making it impossible that the police wouldn't already have picked him up. That
Yeah,
was
that's
it
fair.
was like, he needs to be bad, but he can't be so bad that the police are completely useless and not, why can't Roman put him away? So that was a struggle.
I think you did a
Um,
really good balancing act of that, though. I think you did find it was like, he was a bit Teflon, nothing would sort of stick to him. And, you know, um, there are people out there like that. There really,
yeah,
really are people that go around for years. And like, especially
always
like,
in the mix. Yeah,
yeah, even like in rural communities, I remember like years and years ago, you'd hear about people and like, you'd think, Oh my God. Well, why does if everyone in the village seems to know this about someone,
Mm.
why are they still in the like if this is all true, why are they not in prison? These things do genuinely happen like that. So
And
it
then
was
there's that
realistic.
intimidation fact of, who wants to be the first person to step up and say, I know
Mm,
something about them. If you're going to get, your car set on fire. So,
yeah.
yeah, it was. I love that. I love having something a bit darker alongside the romance. So, it's what I enjoy reading. So it's what I enjoy writing. I want another layer of intrigue or suspense. Nothing too extreme or too dark that takes over everything, but there's got to be sort of a cause and effect to the drama. So I really enjoyed that side of it. I like research anyway. I think just because I have that sort of inquiring mind, I, I feel quite proud that I know so much about drug dealing in general now and the current fentanyl crisis in the US. So, yeah, it's just another string to my bow.
Well, it all came across very, very realistic, so I think you did a really good job. One of the other questions was about your publishing journey as our first debut novelist. So everyone
Yeah.
who in Gaia's library who's come before you have published more than one book, most quite significantly more than one book actually. So this was your first one. So how have you found being a debut novelist? How have you found the publishing journey? Were there any surprises along the way? Anything you didn't expect?
Oh, so many surprises. Like every day is a surprise. I'm learning so much. I have a list of what I've learned. I think I didn't expect it to be, it's been wonderful and disorientating at the same time. Um, I didn't imagine that it would be, in a way, I didn't imagine it would be quite as scary as it has been. I think um, for an introvert, for someone who loves being at home writing, pretty solitary person in general, the expectation of suddenly doing extroverted things is utterly terrifying. That's taken a lot more resilience than I had expected. Um, but then, the payoff of that has been wonderful too. I've met really lovely people. I didn't think, I've done things that haven't come naturally to me and really enjoyed them. So
Is that like taking selfies on the bathroom floor?
yeah, that would come under that.
If anyone
But
wants
what
to know what we're
a
talking
picture, what
about, check out our
a
socials.
photo. Yeah, that would come under that. But don't regret it for a minute. Would do again. Would recommend to a friend.
Yeah, it
um,
was fun.
and what I've learned that I do lack self-confidence. I've learned how fragile I am. That I require an enormous amount of praise from people to keep my confidence up, and I'm learning. I hope I'm learning to be better than that. To give myself a cheerlead when necessary. Um, I've learned that I will never be the person who has a carefully curated social media feed because I'm a bit of a chaos goblin. So I will do I will do the social media, but it'll look the way I am. It'll be a bit jumbled and a bit yeah, a bit
I can't do the whole aesthetic thing either. I'm like, I like
no,
it on other people, but I just cannot do an aesthetic.
I don't. That's not me. It's great when you can. It looks wonderful, but no,
Yeah,
that's
look
not
at
what you're
your
going to get.
background though. Like literally, like to me, I'm like, you can't do an aesthetic, but look at your office. It just looks so beautiful. I'm like,
I have aesthetics around me. I
yeah,
think maybe
I have
and actually
chaos. I'm just chaos in a corner. I'm like, and yours all
it's
looks so
not
pretty.
it's just that I like to I don't I'm not rigid enough to stick to things that are that have a theme. I'm not a theme person. You only have to see my Christmas tree at Christmas. I'm not a theme
Same.
person. So
Yeah.
the more the merrier. Throw things on, mix up the colors, and that's my social media too. So I've learned that. I've learned that um, it's so important. So two things that were important. My writing friends I've made are enormously important for the backup, the support, the mutual cheerleading, the information, everything. They're absolutely wonderful. I've loved making new friends, and having someone like you in my life is a real bonus now.
I love
um
our little chats. It's really, really
it's
helpful because we have different
it's
perspectives on things and we've sort of come from different backgrounds to this point.
definitely,
So it's very handy.
definitely, and you learn so much from other people.
Mm.
That's been wonderful. Writing friends and the readers, I keep having to say, or remind myself that that's why I write. I wanted to give people the feeling that I love the most when I'm reading. And when people message you and say that they read it, they had that feeling, they loved it, readers have been really kind. Those messages mean everything. They're the be all and end all behind the motivation to carry on doing it. And when you get someone record a video of your book and they're just saying, oh, it's 3:30 in the morning and I've stayed up to record this and I loved it, and look at my puffy eyes, I've been crying, or whatever, it just means the world. So that is magic, real magic.
It is magic. And another bit of magic, I'm going to have to get the book off the shelf for. I'm sure
My
everybody
book.
else is. I know. We've got my bookmark in place. So I got sent quite a few different favorite quotes from people. I'm
Nice. I
gonna
love a
just
favorite quote.
yeah, I'm gonna go in with one that was a popular one. He spent all evening watching you like a starving man, eyeing up a cheesecake and thinking none of us noticed. It's just such a fun line, and it really does sum up like the lusting that is going on throughout this book, like the slow burn, the delicious, especially being cheesecake, it is delicious slow burn that goes on within this. And one of our reader questions was like, how do you find, like within the sexy times in the book, how do you find the right balance? And I think what was meant was like, without going like too far, too much detail, and also not giving enough detail, like where do you find your lines when you're writing that romantic, sexy times and all of those things?
Um, I I'm a I love a slow burn. I there has to It has to mean something by the time they get together. I'm not I'll read almost anything, but if the characters are insta lust is one thing, like you want that instant attraction, but if they act on it immediately, I'm like, job done. What am I reading on for? I need to wait for this. So I absolutely love a slow burn. And I think it's really important, the those sort of the balance of the percentages. How much of the book have we got this yearning? How much have we got action? How much, no, I don't want to pick up that kind of book for spice in every chapter. That's not what I'm after. So
Yeah.
to me, that oh my goodness, the nearly touches, the looks, the trying to not say something when it's the wrong time, those mean everything. The finger
All of
brush,
it.
there's nothing better than the finger brush. If they're standing somewhere and they're not supposed to talk, but just that, you know I think there's a
You
part in the
know how
book
that
when,
feels
yeah,
like in the real world, like if someone just gives you like a little something, you're like, oh, what does it mean? What is this? Like that
yeah,
sort of teenage lust thing
I
as
think
well.
so. And if you add in the fact that they're not supposed to be together,
Mm.
there are things keeping them apart, it becomes even more poignant. And I mean, there's even the only one bed scene where they stay over, after they've done the fake date in the barrel, and they
Loved.
share a bed. But there's absolutely, there's so much if only going on at that point, but no actual action. And I think that just builds and builds and builds. And then personally, I just love a bit of spice. I'm so, um, I think it's just such a refreshing thing now that you can literally get a romance that delivers whatever level of spice you want. There is
Yes,
something for
true.
everyone now.
Yeah.
And I was so excited when that started happening. When I think it was, I don't know who it was first of all, but it might have been Emily Henry, it might have been Kate Claiborne. I don't know. When I was reading, picking up books, and there was just enough spice in them, I was thinking this really adds to this romance.
Yes.
Um, and I love writing that now. And I just had the nicest compliment last week from someone, another writing friend, but also she's connected to my publishing company, and she said that she it's really hard not to get the ick with some things. You know, if the spice is wrong, or there's just the wrong thing said, or the wrong amount of it,
Yeah.
it's easy to get the ick. And she said she thinks that, you know, for her, I got it right, and it was the spices just right. And I was so flattered by that, because it's a really fine line. You're
It
not gonna.
is.
I had someone wrote me a review, and bless them, they gave me 5 stars, but they said, you know, loved the book, too much, uh, too much sex in it, too many gratuitous sex scenes. And I thought, well, fair, that's fair.
Everyone's
Didn't take a
different.
star off for it, you know,
No.
still got the 5 stars. So it's really hard to make everyone happy, but for
Yeah.
me, it's enough without being too much. And I hope that other people find that too.
I think sometimes it does deepen the relationship. Like as a reader, sometimes when it's completely closed off, closed doors, you're sort of like, well, like, I don't know, you sort of feel like I've invested so much in this relationship. And now I'm like, oh, it's like you're shut out. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it's
I
important just to
actually,
open the
yeah,
door a
and
little bit.
again, absolutely have no problem with people who do like reading that,
Just go,
because there are so many great books out
"Mm,
there that they can pick
yeah,
up which do that. Personally, I think I've got 3 girls, and um, I'm really delighted for them that they live in a world where they can pick up books that discuss these sort of things, that open up that. I think it's opening the channels of communication um, and expectation to a point, because yes, these guys, you know, these relationships are, you know, men written by women saying things that they'll never say in real life.
wow."
But also I do think it leads people to have higher expectations, and they can be met. It's not unrealistic. It's not all
Mm.
unrealistic. Some of it is unrealistic. It's not all unrealistic,
Yeah,
and
not all of it.
it's leading them to have these standards that, you know, today's guys are going to have to shape up and match up to.
Yes, I definitely find it really amusing when I see videos of the types of men who go like, women don't want to have sex with us anymore. Wow. And I'm like, no, it's not that. It's just women actually have a standard and you don't quite cut it. And it's not because we're being bitchy. It's just, you know, look inwardly sometimes or go
Yeah,
and find the right match for you. The women who you want to have sex with maybe just don't want to have sex with you. Maybe you need to rethink that.
it's like, look, honey, when you're saying that what do women want, we don't understand. Women are writing you all these books. It's
I
very clear
know.
what women want. Go read one.
I know. I'm like, there's basically instruction manuals of fiction out there. Come on,
Yeah.
guys, pull it together. This brings me to what is next in Pine Springs, because that is one of the biggest questions. Like, you know, people are like, what books are next? Do we have more in this series? Everyone just wants more. So tell us what is next.
Well, it's really exciting, and I think this was the hardest part of last year. Was I had no idea that I would be working on so many books all in one go. So the second and the third books of the Pine Spring series are all done and all ready to come out. So book 2 is out next month. Comes out on February 16th. It's called Every Reason Why,
Every reason why.
and we
Brilliant.
have forced proximity, grumpy sunshine. We've got a very growly MMC who is not happy about the situation he finds himself in. He's been left a house he doesn't want by his grandmother, and it comes with an annoyingly perky tenant that he can't get rid of. I love my tagline. It's he's what is it? He's calling it war. She's calling his bluff.
Oh, I love
So
that. Yeah,
yeah.
brilliant.
So that's coming out February 16th. And book 3 is out in May, middle of May. and that's got real summer vibes. That's a fun one. It's kind of um, it starts off with a bachelor bash between a guy and a girl who are getting married, and their friends all go to the lake for a weekend of fun and games. And it's kind of a little bit reminiscent of that bit in the Spanish Love Deception, where they're
I
just
haven't read
before the
that.
wedding. Don't know if you've read that. I love that
No.
book. We've got a very golden retriever MMC in that. Hockey player. Light on the hockey. It's light on the hockey. Don't read it as a sports romance. It's not. I needed a guy who was going to have the summer of not being at work so that he could
Ah,
fit in with my plot,
yeah,
and the hockey thing worked. So that's a
very
lot of
good.
fun. That's out in May. Um, and then who knows? I've been toying with a book for Pine Springs book four. Who knows?
Mhm.
And I've
So
been
you
working on a
might. So you
it's
might
a
have more.
possible.
It's possible.
It's a
Okay.
possible. And apart from that, I'm working on a standalone at the moment.
Is
So
this standalone set in the US or somewhere else completely?
it is. It's set in the US. It's going to be. I love this phrase. My agent came up with it. It's going to be very Pine Springs adjacent.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably if all goes to plan, it's set in Chicago. But there's a lot of crossover. I love the idea of bringing in random characters from the other series,
Love
just that
that.
nobody will really know unless they've read them, and it won't matter if you haven't. But I it's kind of Ocean's 11 meets The Hating Game. It's a bit
Oh.
heisty. It's a lot romancy, and I think it could be good fun.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, and I love character crossover. I have it in every single one of my books. I can't resist. Even if it's just a mention, like just
Little
a
Easter
tiny
eggs.
bit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just can't help it. And I think readers, I mean, like my son, I mean, he's only 7, but he was reading one of the is his name Tom Fletcher? Yeah. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, so he's read all of his books and he was like, this character was in the Christmasaurus books and this one's in this one. He was like so excited. And I'm like,
Exciting.
this is exactly how I feel and how I want readers to feel. I mean, he's only a kid, so he like shows it more, like he can
But I'm
demonstrate
still
that.
like that. If I spot something in someone else's book, I'm as excited as he
Yeah.
is.
Okay, good, because I do too, and that's why I always do it because I just think it's so much fun and like just like a little wink in the corner to the readers, like if you've read them all, you'll know that I'm referencing that book there. Do.
Definitely.
And it
Yeah.
just
Adds a
yeah, I
layer
love
to
it.
it, doesn't it?
It does, it does. Now, before we go, are there any social media places, or do you have a newsletter that people can subscribe to, or anything you want to tell us about, or website?
I'm in the process of putting together a newsletter. Basically, I have no idea how to do it. So as soon as I work out how to do a newsletter, I will be doing one. You can register your interest through my website if you want to be added to a mailing list for the future newsletter. And apart from that, I absolutely love it when people find me on my socials. So I'm on TikTok and Instagram quite regularly. I think both of them are Sophie Hamilton author. So I'm easy to find. Love a message from anyone who's got, questions or has been reading the book. And yeah, track me down. I'll love it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really lovely chatting with you.
I've loved it. Thank you so much for asking me.
Thank you for joining me in Gaia's Library. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you haven't already joined us at gaiaslibrary.co.uk with our lovely monthly subscription boxes full of wonderful books and wonderful goodies, please check us out. gaiaslibrary.co.uk. Speak to you soon.